Hey artists, it's Miss Black with another art tutorial. This one is not as complex as the previous one. The previous one was using a grid to draw something from a photograph. This one is more all about lines and creating a pattern, but also creating what's called an optical illusion. So this one's more for everybody, young to old. Anybody who joins my channel or anybody who checks this out on my website, anybody who wants to do this is welcome to do this. What we're going to do is we're going to learn about an artist called Bridget Riley. And this is from one of those books that I've referred to by Marion Deuchars. Let's make some great art. And there's lots of really cool things in this book about other artists, such as, I think I just saw Paul Klee. Where is he? Where did he go? I just saw him. Oh. Well, I saw Jackson Pollock, Paul Klee, Matisse. There we go. There's Matisse right there. But this one's Bridget Riley. And Bridget Riley was born in 1931 in the United Kingdom. That's in like England or Scotland or Wales. Bridget Riley was one of the leading practitioners of the op, and that's just short for optical art, which kind of just makes your eyes kind of wig out a little bit. Riley used strong geometric shapes in both black and white and color to produce amazing sensations of movement and illusion. So obviously, I mean, this page isn't moving, if you can see over here, but because the lines are placed in such a way, your eyes feel like they're moving. And that's what movement is in art. Or you can just see how the line moves. That could also be one of those principles of art, is just movement. But her art style actually was all about making your eyes, tricking your eyes into thinking it's moving. Let's see, where did I leave off? Some of her work is said to make people feel like they are skydiving, and for others, seasickness. So you might feel a little dizzy. And we're going to make our own op art. Okay, so what we're going to do is this thing right here. You're going to need some maybe cardboard or some like thicker paper. You're going to need scissors, and you're going to need something to draw with. That could be pencil, that could be crayon, anything that you have lying around. I'm going to put this book over here. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to design just like a line. And that's going to be, so I'm going to move this for a second. My paper, I'm not going to use it yet. I'm going to design a form of line right here. Let me just move this up so you can see it a little better. I'm aware that kind of causes a loud sound, so I apologize for that. So what you're going to do is you're just going to draw one line on here, and you're going to go from top. So this is top all the way to the bottom, and this is going to be the line that you keep repeating. So it's going to help you to create a pattern with this line on your other drawing paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and start here, and I would suggest, I should give you guys this disclaimer, I would suggest doing it in portrait instead of landscape. Oops, excuse me. Just because if we do it this way, you're not going to have as much room to draw on your paper. So I would do it long ways so that you have as much room as you possibly can for your paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw this line, and I'm just going to do it in the middle. And it could be any line you want. It could be geometric like this. It could be organic, which is more curvy and flowy. It's up to you. It could be both, like I've just done. Okay. And now I'm going to put my pen away for a minute and take my scissors, and I'm going to cut this line out. And this is going to be your template. And this is really just fun. So bear with me while I cut this out. And if you wanted to, you don't even have to draw the line. You could just cut the line with your scissors. coming. Almost there, guys. There we go. 10 more seconds, maybe. Okay, so there's the line I'm going to use. If you are able to use this, you could also try that if you wanted. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to use one of them. And I'm going to use this, and I'm going to decide, do I want this paper in landscape or in portrait? And that's up to you. I think I'm going to put it in portrait, but you can decide landscape if you wanted. Maybe your paper that you cut out is smaller. But what you're going to do is you're going to start tracing on these lines. And actually, you know what, I'd start, depending on whether you're left or right-handed. If I was left-handed, I'd start on the I'd start on the left side, because I can compare what I'm drawing. Well, it depends on how you feel. I guess that's not necessarily true. I would just definitely hold this so that you could compare it with the previous line. So if I draw a line right here, my next line I want to compare it with the previous one. So I guess it doesn't matter where you start, as long as you are holding this paper in a way that you can compare it with the previous lines, then definitely do that. So I am going to just start here. I'm starting on the left side. I guess you could start on the right side if you wanted. I guess I really never just tried that out. As long as, sorry, I can't see what I'm doing. As long as so I draw, let's say I drew this line, I want to compare, so I'd move this slightly over and compare it with the previous one, okay? I'm going to start on the left side though, just because when I'm drawing, I don't want to smear what I've already drawn. And so if I start on the left side because I'm right-handed, that's not going to happen to my right hand. That's what I was trying to refer to. So if you're left-handed, I would start on the right side, because as you're drawing, let's say I'm left-handed here, my hand isn't going to get dirty as I move along. But if I started on the right side, being right-handed, my hand would smudge it, right? So you want to make sure that you're starting, well, if you are so inclined, to make sure that you're not smudging anything. Even if you're starting on the right side and you're right-handed, just be aware that you could be smudging things. So I'm going to be right here, starting on the left side, and I'm going to trace my first line. So I'm going to hold this down, and I'm going to push my pen against this paper and trace. Oops. Okay, so there's my first line. My next line, I'm going to put this against here, and I'm not going to do a drastic move of this paper. I'm just going to move it either upwards or downwards. That's up to you. I'm digging this downward one. So I'm going to go down, and I'm going to draw another line. Almost like the exact same line, but this is going to be slightly lower. Oh. Okay, and then I'm going to move it again over to the right and maybe slightly down again. You're just going to have to compare it with the previous line that you drew. Digging that. All right. So you could move it down. You could also kind of skew the paper, your template paper, so that maybe it's leaning to one side. That could change and create movement for your eyes. So let me show you what I mean there. So I moved this slightly down. Maybe I'll keep it at the same level, but maybe I'll move this next line slightly closer to the previous one. So I'm just going to move this maybe a tiny bit over and draw another line. And if lots of lines are creating this really cool pattern, whoop, I don't want to mess with that. There we go. Okay. And then it's going to trick your eye. Your eyes are going to kind of wig out a little bit as you get through the entire thing. So I'm going to keep drawing this on time lapse. Maybe I'll just do a couple more so you guys can see, and then I'll jump off of here. But stay tuned for the time lapse video. So maybe I'm just going to move this up now. And you don't have to do as thin of spaces as I'm doing in between lines. You can do thick spaces in between if you want. I'm going to move this up again, maybe even do a thicker one. Maybe to right there. And my next one, maybe I'll even do thicker. Moving this up. Maybe up a tiny bit more, thicker even. See how it's thicker. And if you made your cardboard template or your thick paper template longer than the paper you're drawing on, then this will start to come out, like this is starting to come out here too. Maybe my next one, be even higher, maybe even thicker. And really you're just playing with lines, seeing how you can create an optical, I don't even know what to call it, an optical dissonance, something that you could, that your eye is having a little bit trouble with, okay? So I'm going to continue this all the way across, but I want to show you the example from the book to see what more what a finished one looks like. Where did it go? There it goes. So this is a finished one here. Just turn it around this way. And you can see that this is wigging the eyes out, right? It looks like it's moving, especially when you move the paper. Okay, so that's all you're going to do. And if you want to add color to this, you could totally do that. Maybe you could create some form of rainbow, or maybe even a pattern that could look cool. But I'm going to continue with this until this is finished, and you can see my finished product, and that will be posted below as well. So thanks you guys. I hope you've had fun, and I hope you guys share your work with me. I'll see you next time.